Hey everybody, welcome to Sunday's live chat. Glad you're with me here today. We have some things to talk about, some pictures to show of people in their cars, and some updates on what's coming up in the channel. First of all, I want to say thank you to CanadaDrives.ca. If you're looking for a used car, CanadaDrives.ca is where you go. You can look at the cars, order the car, get fully financed online, and then they deliver it to you in a covered trailer, often the very next day. So that's CanadaDrives.ca. And then CarCostCanada.com is for brand new cars. You want to know what the vehicle cost the dealer, and then you can negotiate based on that information any hidden rebates or incentives. Any advantage you can get these days, you're going to need it. So that's CarCostCanada.com, CanadaDrives.ca. All right. Okay, so a couple of things. Some information coming out. So it looks like the German car industry lost 150,000 units of production because of part suppliers based in Ukraine. One of the main wiring loom, harnesses companies that makes harnesses for a lot of German cars, BMWs, Audis, Mercedes, and Volkswagens, are done in Ukraine, and that's shortened the number of vehicles by 150,000 units just in the month of March. Also, news that Mercedes-Benz GLC is going to be coming this fall, and it will be plug-in only. So they're going to have gasoline plug-in versions and diesel plug-in versions, obviously not for our market, for the European market. Also, Toyota in the United States beat General Motors, but almost every single auto manufacturer is down compared to previous quarters because of shortages, supply chain, chips, you name it. The auto industry is really struggling to get vehicles on the ground. When there's no vehicles on the ground, then there's no sales. So that's what's going on. And now we have to get into some pictures. The first picture comes from, this is from Shannon, who lives in Las Vegas, a 2012 Volvo C30. Fun little 3-door hatchback car, and that's the second last year. The last one made was 2013. Kind of a neat car. This is a very nice car. This is from Victor. He sent two pictures. This is his 2021 Corvette C8. Beautiful looking car in red. And his other whip is an Audi Q3 with a bow on top, I guess, when he picked it up in Brampton there in Ontario. So if you want to get a picture for a future live show for next week, you can send it to Zack@motormouth.ca, ZACK@motormouth.ca, or ZACK if you're in the United States. There was something else I wanted to talk about. Videos that are coming out this week. So on Tuesday, we're going to have the Nissan Rogue and the Subaru Forester comparison, and then a full video review of the Jeep Grand Cherokee. That's going to go out on Wednesday. And then on Saturday, we're going to have a first look at the new Toyota full electric SUV called the BZ4X or the BZ4X south of the border. So that's going to be exciting. We're heading off for a launch event in Victoria on Tuesday. So we're going to have a couple of videos coming out on that. So that's where we're at right now. Let's, by the way, if you just have to have a question answered, then you can always do a super chat. Small donation to the channel, but it's really just the best way of flagging me to get my attention. All right, let's get into the questions. This one is Webby. Hi, Zach. Between Mercedes-Benz and BMW, between the two has been the most disappointing automaker in the past decade. I used to think it was BMW for their interior lack of innovation, but I've done 180 degrees on that. I used to always complain that BMWs haven't changed much when it comes to their interiors. But now as time has gone by and everybody's changing their vehicles so much with so many touch screens and interactive displays, I really appreciate BMW's thought process. They have a screen for you to touch. They have their iDrive controller, which is arguably one of the best in the industry. They have real buttons and capacitive switches to use to interact with the system, so that I like. Now, The disappointment, I would say, comes from design. I mean, we've all seen what BMW's done with some of their grills, and that's not going away. So that's where I would find the disappointment there. Sanjib is saying, great content, keep it up. In the market for a high trim and BMW, Cadillac, Audi, Porsche, Alfa Romeo, Maserati. Have not seen any recent reviews for sedans and SUVs lately. What would you recommend? Well, I need more than that, dude. I need, how much you're going to spend? Do you want an SUV? Do you want a car? What kind of price? What size of car? Is it small, medium, or large? And yes, of course, we've covered vehicles. We've done Cadillac, we've done Audi, we've done Porsche, BMW. So that is just not the case, saying we haven't covered it. Crater Rick with the super chat. Thank you very much. No question, it doesn't look like, but I appreciate the super chat. It's very nice of you. If you want to get a question in and it has to be answered, you can do it that way. Here's Barrick. Wasn't first this time, but pretty close to being first. Hey, Zach, what's your take on the upcoming Toyota GR Corolla? Do you think it's a formidable competitor to the Civic Type R, Volkswagen Golf R, and the Hyundai Veloster N? Yeah, absolutely it will be. So I just wrote down some points. It's a 1.6 liter turbo, 300 horsepower, manual transmission only, and it's going to have several all-wheel drive settings for the all-wheel drive system. So the one brand that did this really well when they introduced their high-performance hot hatch was Ford with the Focus RS. And they had all the different drive modes, and now you see it with Golf R. They have the drift mode, and you're going to see the same thing. Now, Toyota is pulling from their World Rally Championship heritage with Yaris. Now, that car was developed for the European market, so they got their high-performance Yaris for the European market, not the right size for North America, so we're going to get Corolla. I think it's going to be outstanding, fun, and should be a ride to drive. So the proof will always be when we get our hands on it. I would say probably the closest competitor is no longer available, and that would be the Focus RS. Reinhard, hi Zach. Do you think once my battery of my 2022 Bolt EUV gets replaced, God only knows when that'll be, that'll have a decent trade-in value? Looking at a new Equinox EV if available in all-wheel drive. So I know 3 people who have had their Bolt batteries replaced, and there was some confusion when I read the press release about what Chevrolet was doing. When they replaced the batteries, in their terminology they called it the module. Now I thought it was just the control module that regulated the battery in the electric motor system. So when they say module, they should have said battery pack. So that is what is getting replaced. My massage therapist has a 2017 or 18 Bolt. She said she dropped it in the morning, went out for a few hours, came back, they gave her a car to drive, picked it up, and it's been absolutely fine. Somebody else I know had it done in just a few short hours. So I'm guessing the older cars are getting done first, and then the newer ones, as yours would obviously be newer because it's an EUV, and there weren't actually very many of those even sold. So yeah, I think that you would hope that when the battery is replaced and it's all been fully updated, it's going to have some value. Anything right now that has a plug on it is doing well for resale value because of the price of oil. So I agree with you. I think that the Equinox full electric vehicle is going to be very interesting to drive. It looks great. How it is on size, I'm not quite sure. But yeah, they'll have the cheap version. And then that'll be just sort of 2-wheel drive, and then they'll have the all-wheel drive version. Not sure what the price is. But I would bet just based on the cost of energy these days, anything with a plug on it should hold its value quite well. Okay, we have 200 people on board and 46 thumbs up. If you guys could smash the thumbs up, that would be great. MB10, hey Zach, loving your channel from Montreal. What are the chances of a Corolla Cross Hybrid coming out in 2022-2023? So a Corolla Cross Hybrid is coming out. It was announced when the vehicle was introduced that first the gas engine and then the hybrid is coming. So it will be coming probably as a 2023 model year. So just put your seatbelt on and wait. It's going to be coming. And if I was going to buy a Corolla Cross, that would be the one that I would order. It's mostly because of the drivability of the gas one. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's not that refined, especially on the highway. Andrea and I both found that the interior noise was too high on the highway. If you're just using it as a city car, it's probably going to be fine, but I think the hybrid would certainly help with that. So yeah, just wait, it's coming. Stephen Wong, hey Zach, will you be doing the BZ4X review? I saw Everyday Reviews did a review already. How much do you think starting price will be and when it'll be sold to the public? So it's going to be on sale this summer, and you know, that everything in Canada that's electric and an SUV starts just under $45,000. I don't have the official price here, but I almost guarantee you that it'll start at that magical number, because it has to in order to qualify for the electric car rebate in Canada. $45,000, the starting price. Now the top trim can be higher than that, but yeah, it's gamesmanship. All of these car companies are playing. So we are going to be driving it on Wednesday. We'll have a video and turn it around. It'll be out on Saturday, and it's going to be available this summer. Okay. The big question I have when I go and talk to them is, how many are you going to have? Because that's the big issue we have right now, is that we can't get a RAV4 Prime. Are we going to be able to get this BZ4X? Mateo, what two cars would you buy? No budget, just what Zach wants. Okay, I would have a 911 GT3 Touring, and I would go for an E39 M5, an older car, but a BMW E39 M5. That one wouldn't be too crazy expensive. A really nice one would be expensive, but not too crazy. And then the 911 would be, because you can't get a GT car right now. Here's Sam. Hey, Zach. Why interest rates are so high at this time? Example, interest rate of VW are 6.6. Insane. It's due to the low inventory at dealers. Do you think it will cool down in the upcoming months? No, I don't think it's going to change at all. Couple of things. There is no inventory for people to buy. If you are going to finance the vehicle, they're basically going to charge you whatever they can. In 2 years ago or so, 3 years ago, car companies had to put incentives on the hood. Those are gone. You don't get $1,000 or $2,000 off anymore. You don't get the 1.9% interest or 0% interest. That's all gone. So now they're actually in a position where they can make some money. Car companies are in business to make money. So if you think 6.6% is too high, go to your bank and get a car loan. It'll be higher than 6.6%. So what we need is more inventory of cars. We need more competition, and that is not happening right now. So interest rates, you're right, are high. Then you add on to the fact that interest rates generally, central banks are going to be putting interest rates up. Now, car companies often buy down the cost of the money for you. So when you see those special 1.9, 2.9% interest rates, basically what's happening is the car company is eating some of that and passing the discount on to you. So because we're in an inflationary period right now, interest rates are going to be going up. We're going to see more announcements from central banks around the world. So you never know. We might be looking back and thinking 6.6% was a good deal. You never know. Hi, Zach. Bought a 2021 and a half CX-5 last November. Dealer was trying to sell extended warranty for $1,750. I decided, thinking I can go back to the dealer just before the 3-year bumper-to-bumper expires. Third party or dealer. Very good way to do it. Like when you have a brand new vehicle with a full factory warranty, don't buy another warranty to go along with that. You have a warranty from the manufacturer, and you should do exactly what you mentioned. You should get a warranty just as your bumper-to-bumper warranty is about to expire. Now, to be honest with you, I'm not fully versed on the aftermarket warranties and who's best at it. It's just not part of the industry. It's something I should learn more about. But yeah, there are options to you. You can go back to the dealer, and maybe they have an extended certified pre-owned warranty that they will do on the car, but they obviously know the different players that can sell a warranty, a third party. But one of the reasons why I don't like to add this $1,700 to the cost of your car is because most people finance or lease, and you're rolling the cost plus interest of that extra warranty into your car payment every month, which at the end of the 3 years costs you a lot more than $1,750 for coverage you can't really access until the car's 3 years old. And then the other thing is that stuff happens. You might get married, you might be expecting a baby, you might get a divorce, you might lose your job, you might have to move to another part out of the country, you might have to go somewhere totally different. So don't have your money all tied up in a car that you don't know you're going to keep. At the end of the 3 years, and you think you're going to keep it, your job's stable, everything's normal, then you can buy your warranty then. Hey, Zach, how much do you expect the dealerships to mark up the Toyota Corolla GR by? Yeah, I have no idea. In Canada, they're not allowed to do that. You hear about that all the time in the United States. So I'm not sure even know what the allotment is going to be, how many they're going to bring in to North America. So excited for the upcoming Honda Accord redesign, hoping it makes some style cues from the Civic and gives us a nicely refreshed exterior interior with a hybrid powertrain here in the U.S. Yeah, I don't know much about that. All I know is we actually have the Accord Hybrid, the latest model. We're going to pick it up tomorrow. And I am going to basically in the video say, people are complaining about, there's no cars to buy and fuel is so high. Well, you should be looking where people aren't shopping. So everybody's looking for an SUV. How about a mid-size sedan? Everybody's thinking about a plug-in. What about a hybrid? Accord Hybrid is going to be nice to drive it. I've driven the gas model, the turbo model, and now the hybrid model. We get it tomorrow. So yeah, there's going to be something new. That's good. Good for Honda. They need it because Honda has not had much in the way of innovation over the last little while. It sounds like the Canadian government will raise the limit on what electric vehicles are covered by rebates. Will that mean manufacturers will just raise the prices from $45,000 to $50,000? Listen, don't get me started on this. I had quite a few people write back when I was talking about the rebate issue and gave my explanation of how I think rebates should work, and the name that seemed to stick with me was a regressive rebate. To recap again, my thinking is the biggest rebate should be on the cheapest car. And then as the price of the car goes up, the rebate gets smaller and smaller, which means the onus is shifting off the taxpayer to pay for your car and onto the person buying the car. If you want to spend $60,000 on a car, go for it. But it's on your wallet, not mine, and not the general taxpayers to buy personal transportation. So that's what I think. Listen, we have now an NDP Liberal government in Ottawa, and they are going to spend your money like you have no idea over the next 3 years. So if you're not a Canadian, we just had an agreement done between our left of center Liberal government with the farther left of center New Democrats to form an alliance to keep the minority government in power for 3 years. And with that is going to come a huge price tag. You just wait. You think they spent a lot of money over the pandemic? The amount of money that they're going to spend on all kinds of different plans and projects with your tax dollars running up deficits, that's just my theory. We'll wait and see. And I think you're right. I think electric cars are going to be one of them. But we'll see. All right, here's Zachary. Hi, Zach. Love the videos. This has been on my mind for a while. How exactly do you think the Chrysler brand is surviving? They really only have one big seller, the Pacifica. I don't even think it's that big a seller. It's more of a volume car, you're right, than something like the Chrysler 300. But yeah, they're going to have a push for Chrysler as an electric brand. Okay, so that's one way that they're going to revive the brand is when they have their new electric vehicles coming. There was a major announcement that was made in Ontario a week or so ago that that Stellantis is going to have quite a large battery production facility down near Windsor, Ontario, that is going to supply about a quarter of all the battery production that they're going to need for all of North America. So that is a sizable battery factory that's going to be in southwestern Ontario near Windsor. And when you have a battery factory there, that means that the plants that make those vehicles will be close by. So you can guess that the Windsor assembly is going to have some kind of electrification. That's a Chrysler plant already for the Pacifica. So yeah, there's going to be more coming from Stellantis when it comes to electrification, and Canada is going to play a role in that, which is good news. So the future of Chrysler has not been shown to us yet, but from all indications, it's going to be electrified. So probably new vehicles that are electric from that group will be Chryslers. All right, let's go back up where we were here. So we have 322 on board, 104 thumbs up. That's great. 2 thumbs down. There's always a couple of you out there, but that's okay. If you want to be a jerk, that's fine. John Wong. Hey Zach, we're a family of 4. With gas prices so high, I don't know if we should get a Corolla hybrid or Cross. Do I please my wallet or my family? Are there alternatives you recommend? Budget is $28,000. So John, I think that you might be surprised that your family might actually have more room in the Corolla sedan than you would in the Corolla Cross. So the Corolla back seat is actually quite comfortable for a family of 4. Somebody else just give me a thumbs down. Hey, that's all right. Go for it. So try them both out. If you're not in a rush, wait for the Corolla Cross Hybrid that will be coming probably towards the end of this year as a 2023 model. So that's what I would do. Wait for that one. See how much it's going to cost. If it's too high for your budget, right around $26,000 for a Corolla hybrid. It's great on gas. It's a very good little car. It's actually the best Corolla in my opinion. And you'd be surprised that the back seat probably has more room than the Corolla Cross. Hi Zach, how's longevity and reliability of the Mazda 2.5T and the Subaru 2.4T? Well, we have to kind of wait. It's only been 2 years since we've had the 2.5. Well, that's not quite true because we have it in the CX-9. So I don't know right here that I have the reliability scores for the 2.5T, but you could easily look up the CX-9, which was what that engine was developed for. So look up the reliability of the 2.5T in that, because that has been out for several years now. In the smaller vehicles like the CX-30, the Mazda 3, and the CX-5, it's only been maybe not even 2 years. So look at the CX-9 for that. The Subaru 2.4T was in the Ascent first, and the Ascent as a car overall in the Subaru family has had below industry average in terms of reliability. Not sure if it's the engine or other parts of the car, but the Ascent hasn't scored particularly well when it comes to quality scores. Other vehicles that Subaru makes are fine, but that one is not as strong as others. I'm not sure if it's the engine, but there's another engine that hasn't been out for that long. So the longest vehicle that it's been in is the Ascent. So look to that vehicle to see how it's been doing. Enjoy all your reviews and your show tonight, Andrea, and you do an awesome job. Thanks. Well, thanks, Reg. Appreciate that. That's very nice of you. Hey, Zach, what do you know about the Toyota Grand Highlander? Not really much other than that they're going to have a more posh version of the Highlander. So fill your boots. I think the Highlander is a wonderful product, and it can get really quite expensive on the top trims. Now they're going to make it even more expensive. Hey, Zach, the new Corolla GR has been shown. What do you think about it? Well, I think it's great that there's some excitement around the Toyota brand. Basically they had this already in Europe with the Yaris, and their WRC car basis is the Yaris. They don't go rallying with the bigger cars. They go rallying with the smaller cars. I went as a guest of Volkswagen to the very last Volkswagen WRC race in Australia, and they drove Polos, so they're really quite small. That size wasn't going to fly in North America. So they thought, if we're going to do something, we'll do it with Corolla. Listen, it looks great. It sounds great on paper. 300 horsepower, 1.6 turbo, all-wheel drive manual. It speaks to me. We'll have to wait until we drive it. As I mentioned, I think probably the vehicle that's closest in spirit is the Focus RS, which was sold for, I think, a year, maybe 2 years, and then they axed it, which is crazy. Sportage or Sportage review is coming at the end of the month. We're going to Victoria in 2 weeks to drive it, and we will turn that video around as soon as we can. So we're very excited to get a chance to drive that, because huge fans, Andrea and I, of the Tucson. In fact, we chose the Tucson as our car of the year for last year, for 2021. So the Sportage or Sportage version from Kia, can't wait to drive it. Do you know if Mazda is planning to replace their 6-speed automatic transmission? In my opinion, it's one downside to the Mazda 3 Turbo. I disagree with that. Having driven Mazda products for years, I have no issue with the 6-speed at all. Everybody seems to think that it's not very good because it's got 2 less gears. Trust me, I have no problem with it. So they are going to updated architecture at Mazda. And it has been publicly stated that an 8-speed automatic transmission is in the works. Now, one of the reasons why they've stuck with the 6-speed is because, first of all, it's a known entity and reliability is a factor. But also, a lot of the gears and the CVTs that have been added in transmissions by other brands has all been done to the gods of fuel economy. Okay, so they put 10-speed transmissions in Ford products and now Toyotas and Hondas and other vehicles because they want to get the fuel economy improved, and that's how they're doing it. That's why so many vehicles have CVTs. Mazda didn't have that issue because a lot of people aren't aware. The rules are what's called the corporate average fuel economy, or CAFE. It's a United States measuring system. So you take the vehicles that a company sells and you average it out, the corporate average fuel economy. It's pretty self-explanatory. And Mazda as a brand, because they don't have any V6s, they don't have any big trucks, they don't have any of that, because they already have efficient 4-cylinder engines, they have the lowest corporate average fuel economy of any brand. So they didn't need to come out with 8 gears. That's why they stuck with 6 gears. As the fuel economy stipulations become more strict, and they were just announced last week that they're going to be making the fuel economy so strict in the next 6 years, yeah, they're going to have to come out with more than just a 6-speed automatic. How expensive is it to own a car in 2022 compared to 30 years ago? I don't even know what to say. Hi, Zach. Do you think there will be any serious car parts issues? Generally speaking, seems to be a shortage of everything. Yeah, there are part shortages. Nissan is going through this right now. They have part supply issues restricting production. I know this because I'm on some specialty web forums for Porsche cars, and I'll show. Hey, I got something to show you. This is a valve block from my Porsche Cayenne GTS. So when I ordered this for my car, mine has a little leak. Where is it? It's got a little leak somewhere. Yeah, here. The valve block plugs in here. It's leaking there a little bit, and my mechanic said to order one because eventually it would fail. So I went online and I found out there were 2 of these in the world. 2 of them. So I bought it, and it's been sitting over there in my office. When it does decide that it wants to let go, I have one. So there's all kinds of issues with parts. People, especially getting specialty parts for unique cars. There's a perfect example. You going online, you need a part. There's only 2 in the world. That's crazy. So anyway, I have one. I'll sell it. I don't want to tell you what this costs from a Porsche Cayenne GTS. But this is for the Porsche Dynamic Chassis Control. And it's got a Volkswagen badge on it. Volkswagen. There you go. It's heavy too. this is a very general question, but why are your European vehicles like Volvo, BMW, Volkswagen always at the bottom of reliability scores? Well, I think it's because European brands are not really safe when it comes. They're safe, obviously, for passengers. They're not safe in their decisions when it comes to innovating. The real innovators for automobile technology and features often are the German brands. They push the envelope. I remember when BMW came out with the iDrive controller for its computer interface in the 7 Series in 2002. It was a pile of crap, but they pushed on with it and they improved it and they made it better, and now it's one of the best systems on the road, and everybody else copied them. But that's what they do. They push the envelope when it comes to technology, engine development, interfaces, and those sorts of things. And then there's other brands that don't do that. They take the very safe approach and they kind of follow the industry. So that would be a Toyota and Lexus, for example. A Honda, they're not really innovating too much when it comes to pushing through with new technology. They let other brands do that. And a lot of them are European. And then you have a brand like Tesla is doing the same thing. But the quality scores and the number of repairs for Teslas is way higher than the industry average. There was an article that just came out from my colleague David Booth. He wrote a column in the UK. They did a survey of all vehicles, and electric vehicles were below the industry average, and Tesla was the worst. But you have to give credit where credit is due. They have pushed the industry into new ways of thinking. And so that's what happens. The brands that are not risk takers seem to score better. The brands that are risk takers pay the penalty for that. Okay, we have some super chats here. I always appreciate that. It's nice to get a contribution to the channel, but also to have people get their questions answered. All right, this is from Blackwell. Hey, from London, Ontario, your old home. I'm getting a 2021 Passport front window and windshield tinted to match the rear window factory tint. Is tinting windows a bad idea in your opinion? I would not get the front windows and windshield tinted. That is against the law. In my, from what I remember, you are not allowed in, I'm pretty sure in Ontario, to have tinted windows in the front. Okay? It's just against the rules. So I would not be doing that, and I would consult with the tint shop, and they'll probably tell you the same thing. You could get some major tickets for that. So I wouldn't suggest it. Yes, and I haven't been in London, Ontario in a long time. Here's Raj. Hey, Raj. Thinking of selling my Q3. Should I trade it in and get tax benefits or sell it private? I never sell private. Small loan on it, though, through Audi Financial. You can do both, Raj. You can have your cake and eat it, too. So if you're getting another vehicle from a dealership, say another Audi, I know you had a TT before, say you're getting another car, maybe it's not the Audi dealer, they might have a BMW store or a Volkswagen, whatever it is. You can do what's called an in and out, okay? So you advertise your Q3 and you get Bob or Sally wants to buy it from you for $35,000. So you say, okay, we're going to do the deal, but we're going to do the deal at the dealership. So you trade the vehicle in against your new car. You get the tax break, right? The difference between what the car is worth and what you're going to pay for the new car. That's all you're paying the tax on. And then the person that's buying your Q3 actually buys it from the dealership, not from you. So it's called an in and an out. It goes into them for you to get the trade, and then they flip it back to the person that's buying it. It usually costs you or the person buying the car about $500 to do it, but you just have to go to the dealer that you're dealing with for your new car and saying, if I bring a buyer, will you guys do an in and out? Now, the dealer probably will be saying, now, Raj, why are you going to bring a buyer to us and we'll do an in and out? Sell us the car, because they would love to. There's no cars. So I would bet if you go to your dealer and say, listen, I've got this Q3. I think you only got it a year ago. It's low mileage, great shape. like, let's work on a price here, they'll probably give you really good money for it. You might be surprised that the dealer will bend over backwards to get your trade, and there you don't have to worry about anything. You don't have to worry about bringing somebody in and doing it in and out. You just get them to trade it in against your next vehicle. And if it's not an Audi, that dealer group might have the brand that you're looking for. Okay, hopefully that helps. Alrighty. We have 400 people on board. That's great. 178 thumbs up. 4 thumbs down. There's always some of you out there. That's okay. Billy Rock says tint is legal. Tint is legal on the rear windows, not on the front windows, from what I remember. So it might have changed in the province of Ontario, but from what I understand, front window tint is a no-go. Oh, here's one I missed, I guess. Another super chat from Taker610. Is resale in 5 years a concern in buying internal combustion engine today? I don't believe it will be, because I think that all of these announcements around electrification and I just don't see the prices coming down where there's going to be a lot of inventory for people to buy at the prices. Like, for example, we just had somebody on here saying they've got $28,000 to spend on a Corolla versus a Corolla Cross. Like, we need cars at that price point in order to get people to switch to full electric vehicle. There's a lot of people that are buying used cars. There's more used cars on the road. So there's still always going to be a market for, you know, vehicles that are of a certain price. I just don't see the prices of electric cars coming down in a big way. I just don't. With the competitiveness for the resource to make the electric batteries, we've seen the basis for the materials, the rare earth materials, have shot way up in the last little while. And there's going to be more competition for all of those rare earth materials. So I'm not really sure we're going to see a huge drop in prices. And right now, most electric cars are too expensive. So the other thing you got to remember, where I live here in British Columbia, that's just one example. Right now, vehicles that are electrified, whether they're plug-in or full EVs, is around 10 to 12% of the market right now, because we have a zero emission mandate. We also have incentives in place to get people to buy. Okay, so you got to remember, we'll just say 10% right now of new vehicles are electrified. Now, the question I have is, what is the average age of a vehicle on the road today? Any guesses? Longtime viewers will know the answer to this. It's not 5 years, it's not 6 years, not 7 years, not 8 years, it's not 9, it's 10 years. Most cars that are on the road today are 9 to 10 years old. Okay, so if you have 10% of the market, which is currently what's happening where I live in British Columbia, that are electrified in some way, being sold, it takes a huge number of years for all of those vehicles to filter into the used car market and be an average used car. So as I mentioned, the average used car today is 9 to 10 years old. Okay, if we had 100% brand new vehicles fully electric today, it would take many, many years for all of those vehicles that are on the road today to be replaced with electric. So it's not like you could have 50% new vehicle sales. Most people don't buy new vehicles. I mean, most people don't drive new vehicles. There's about 2 to 3 times more used vehicles that are sold each year than new. And most people are driving older cars. So as much as the headlines are there's going to be more electric vehicles sold, and that is true. There's mandates to get more people to buy electric cars, and that is true. There's going to be more money thrown at people to buy electric cars, and that's true. And the percentage of new vehicle sales, electric cars, will go up. That is true. The bulk of the cars that are on the road are not new. They're old. So is your 5-year-old car going to be worth something? I would bet it is. I would just bet it is. And when you hear these grand announcements that everything's going to be electric and it'll be simple, we'll all just plug in and drive electric cars. It ain't going to be that simple. there's going to be a lot of bumps in the road. I think that it's great that people want to make this change. I think it's great there's more choices, but I don't think it's going to be as simple as everybody makes out. That's what I think. All right. You guys always get me off on an electric car rant. Nothing wrong with electric cars, but I want people to pay for them with their own money. I think that, if you're down around the $30,000 to $40,000 range, yeah, incentives would help people who really could use it to get an electric car. $60,000 cars, I don't think that's the best way to use our tax dollars. All right, here's BB saying, I have a 16 Sorento EX for the family. Need a second vehicle, and I'm considering a hybrid Maverick. What are you guys doing the review? Love the content of the channel. Yeah, I just got a listen, we were supposed to get our Maverick here in October. And there was a huge storm that hit the West Coast, and Vancouver was cut off from the rest of the country, so the Maverick that was on its way here was turned back, and why it took them so long to get it here. Anyway, we get it in about 3 or 4 weeks, and I specifically asked for the hybrid. I would love to have a Maverick base model hybrid truck. I just think that is the coolest thing. It gets, 5.8 liters per 100 kilometers in the city. It's this practical little pickup truck to go to Home Depot and the dump, and I think there's going to be a lot of people that buy the Maverick hybrid as a regular car alternative. So it's got seating for 4, I think 5, maybe 3 passengers in the back seat. It's not that expensive, gets incredible fuel economy, and hey, you could put a cap on the back and use it for other things. I think it's fantastic. So yeah, I can't wait to drive it. I used to have a Toyota Tacoma pickup truck. I would love to have a Maverick pickup truck. Just the base model. I just want the hybrid. I don't want anything more than that. Julie's here. Do you see hydrogen gas vehicles coming in the future? It's funny you mentioned that, Julie, because we're going to the Toyota electric car launch in Victoria on Tuesday, and they will have there for us to drive the hydrogen Mirai. Which is their sedan. Nice looking car, by the way, but it really comes down to where the filling infrastructure is. So I would suggest that hydrogen vehicles probably are not going to be mass appeal for average consumers. They're going to be best used for fleet purposes, like taxi fleets, delivery fleets, small truck fleets, deliveries, all that kind of stuff. I think for the average consumer, it's very juvenile right now because it all is centered on filling infrastructure. So same thing like we used to have with electric infrastructure. We need that for hydrogen. But I think it's really going to be centered around delivery, like postal trucks, right? Why do mail trucks need to be gas or diesel? They could be hydrogen, and they fill up every day at a filling station near where the postal outlet is. So stuff like that is going to be the way hydrogen is used. And for long haul trucks, big tractor trailers, hydrogen will probably be the way to go. Love your review of the new Rogue, though I'm not a fan of turbocharging. Do you know what the engine of the new Qashqai will be? I don't know. There is a Qashqai already in Europe, a new updated version. I haven't really looked at it, but it's not always the same. So you could go and look up what the Qashqai is, for example, in the UK, but it's not going to be as perfect translation for our market. So I would love to see that little engine used. Somebody else pointed out that the turbo that's in the Rogue would be great in the Sentra, and I would agree with that. With over 200 pound-feet of torque, that would be a lot of fun to drive. But yeah, I hope that they do use it in more vehicles. Here's Sat. Mercedes GLA 254 Matic coming to $55,000 on-road price. Can you suggest more luxury options for $55,000 all-inclusive? More luxury options. Well, if you're looking at, okay, that's a CLA, not a GLA. CLA, maybe a Cadillac CT4. A Cadillac CT4 might be cheaper. An Audi A4. I think probably an A4 You'll get more bang for your buck out of an A3 or an A4. But also check out the Cadillac CT4, which is a wonderful car to drive. Great show on Sunday. Smash the like button. I like that. I can't see myself paying $6,000 to upgrade electrical panel in order to accommodate EV charger while losing the storage space in my garage anytime soon. Well, these are all the hurdles. Like I said, it's so simple. We're all just going to drive electric cars. It's not that simple. There's going to be lots of hurdles for everybody. I'm a perfect example. This house that I'm in here right now is 100 years old this year. It was built in 1922. It's an old character house in the middle of the city, and we have a laneway in the back with a small single garage, really not much bigger than a shed, really. So if I want to put my 240 volt plug, I've got to redo the whole back of my laneway and garage, and it's going to cost me, I don't know how much, $10,000-$15,000 to do that, just so I can plug the car in with 240 volts. So it could be simple for some people, but other people, it's not going to be simple. So these are all the hurdles we got to get over. Reg says, PokerNet just put an ad on your show, but it disappeared quick. I don't know. Any ads on YouTube are good with it. We get paid if they play an ad. How is Mitsubishi reliability? Which company does it compare to? So Mitsubishi has fairly good reliability. Now, there's a bit of a transition, though, because until the new Outlander came, the Mitsubishi products that you bought were all Mitsubishi engineered and developed, okay? The Outlander, and moving forward, they will be co-developed with Nissan Renault. Okay, there's the Nissan Renault Mitsubishi Alliance. So it's platform sharing, it's engine sharing, it's development sharing, all to bring the cost down for all of the brands. So for example, the Outlander is built on the same platform as the Nissan Rogue. Until the Rogue engine was updated this year, they shared the same engine and transmission. And I would guarantee, I don't know the French Renault that uses that platform, but there'll be something in the Renault family that uses that same platform. So they've taken the engineering, the research and the development for one platform and shared it with three brands. So that's what they've done. So the answer is, until this year or till last year, you could look at Mitsubishi as its own entity, and the reliability was quite good. So now you have to factor in the moving forward. The first product is the Outlander, and there will be more that are going to be on shared platforms. So you have to look at not just Mitsubishi, but also Renault and Nissan for what their quality scores are. The good news is Nissan has been coming up in terms of quality over the last couple of years. In fact, they have done much better than a lot of other brands in terms of initial quality and dependability. So hopefully good things ahead. We have a super chat here from Sakib. No question, though. But I appreciate the super chat. Unless, oh, there it is. There it's come in now. Hi, Jack. Close, Zach. I recently ordered a Highlander Hybrid Platinum, and I now realized BZ4X is in the same price range. We're a family of three, and I was wondering if pre-ordering the BZ4X instead of the Highlander. Well, you can kind of have your cake and eat it too, because you can order both, right? And work with your dealer. And the other thing is, whenever you're putting a deposit down on a vehicle you're going to order, make sure that you write into the contract that it is a fully refundable deposit. So say you give them $500 on a BZ4X and you give them $500 on the Platinum Highlander. And then you can work with them and say, what's the likelihood when these are going to come in? So I would agree with you. I think the BZ4X for a family of three would be perfectly fine because it's longer than the RAV4. So you've got quite a bit of room inside it. As I said, we're going to get a chance to drive it this week. Now the Highlander is, up to 8 passengers. I'm not sure if you're going to need all that space. But you work with the dealer and find out when they're coming, because your Highlander Hybrid might be 8 months away and your BZ4X might be a year and a half away. I don't know. It could be 6 months, could be 3 months. I don't have the answer for you. You need to find out which vehicle they think is going to come in first and then decide then. But if you do not take the vehicle, don't worry, because you'll get your money back and they'll have no problem giving that allotment to somebody else. Here's another super chat. Which is the most silent compact hybrid SUV? Road tire wind noise. The most silent compact hybrid SUV. The most silent compact SUV. I would say maybe not hybrid, but I would go plug-in hybrid. I would say the RAV4 Prime, obviously, for a plug-in. And then the regular hybrid is much quieter than the gasoline version. The other one is, if you're not in a rush, the Mitsubishi Outlander plug-in hybrid is going to be coming this summer. And the regular model, we really enjoyed it and thought it was great. So I would think that the plug-in version of that one will be fantastic. But just straight hybrid, I'm just trying to do it from memory now. I think they're all going to be fairly close. I would say the RAV4 is fantastic, and then the Hyundai versions, like you've got the Santa Fe hybrid and the Tucson hybrid, and then we'll have the Sportage from Kia. They're all quite good, but road and wind noise, yeah, I think I'd wait for the Mitsubishi. Hello, Zach. Cheers from Montreal. If you had to guess, what are the odds Subaru will bring a 182 horsepower engine to their Crosstrek trims with a manual transmission, or bring the manual transmission to the outdoor trim? I don't think that's going to happen. I think that the manual transmission space is so small. Like, it really is small. Like, you're into it, I'm into it, I get it. I like a transmission, manual transmission. But the reality is the manual transmission space is very small. And so I would like it if they had it with the 2.5 liter and you got more power in a manual transmission. I just don't see a big enough market for them to do that, unfortunately. So I would maybe look elsewhere. But really, if you're wanting anything that's kind of like a crossover, that's manual transmission and all-wheel drive, it really doesn't exist. If you want manual and a crossover, most of them are front-wheel drive. I think you can still get a Qashqai manual base model, but it's front-wheel drive only. So yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. I really don't. They're going to stick with the 2 liter, and that's what you get. Also, it's packaging, right? So with the more expensive models, you also get eyesight and the advanced safety features, and you need the continuously variable transmission to affect that. The manual transmission doesn't get it. So it's easier for them to package everything the same way. Mirai leases in the US come with 3 years of free hydrogen, which in my opinion really makes the high MSRP worth it. But I don't see anything about that in CA Canada. Okay, so one of the problems is that the refilling infrastructure is very primitive in Canada. Okay, so in the United States, the last number I remember is that there are 3,000 Mirai on the road in California, and they're all clustered around filling stations. So California has way more hydrogen filling stations than anywhere else. So you can get away with having a hydrogen fuel cell vehicle. They have the Clarity in the United States that they've sold, and that is great. Filling infrastructure is where it's at. For example, here where I live in Vancouver, there's one public filling station that's hydrogen. There are some others that are done through the University of British Columbia. BC Hydro has one and others, but there's one or maybe a second one is being added. So the filling infrastructure is the real problem. But I agree with you. If we had more filling infrastructure, I think that would be a great way to bring the cost down. Well, somebody just brought up, yeah, one way to get a manual transmission and have a little bit of fun would be like getting a Mazda 3 and not getting the Subaru, but you're not getting the all-wheel drive. Make sure I haven't missed any super chats here. Oh, here's one. What makes Cadillac so unreliable performance-wise? Their sedan chassis and drivetrains are great, but I keep my cars for 15 years and need reliability. Well, Cadillac has been improving in terms of reliability. They have gone up. They're above average when it comes to 3 years dependability. There have been issues around the new big screens in the Escalade, and that's also going to be in Lyric and other Cadillac products. I would say probably it's the in-dash technology that's the bugaboo for Cadillac. And I agree with you. I think that their cars are fantastic to drive. I'm a huge fan of the CT5. Andrew and I actually chose the CT5V as our car of the year for 2020. What a wonderful machine. I'd love to have one. But yeah, 15 years of ownership, that's a long time. And you're asking a lot of a high-tech machine. That's one of the things talked about it a moment ago. Vehicles and brands that push with technology, and General Motors is kind of halfway between, say, the future forward-thinking German brands and the safe Japanese brands. They're kind of in the middle. They have some stuff, especially on the Cadillac brand, which is pushing the latest technology. So that's when you get into trouble, right? With the latest, newest stuff. Often hasn't been proven, and it gets proven in the marketplace on somebody else's dime, unfortunately. But I'm a big fan of Cadillac products. Every time I drive one, I think, these are great. Sorry, guys, I just got to get back to where I was here. Make sure I didn't miss anything. So we have 450 plus people on board, 251 thumbs up, 6 thumbs down now. Oh, come on, you guys can do better than that. At least get to 10 thumbs down. If we get to 300 thumbs up, we can get 10 thumbs down. Okay, let's go back up to the top here. Do you think Volkswagen should reconsider the all-track back to North American market? Well, I think it's a great product, and the Sport Wagon was so unique. There was nobody selling wagons, and they had the Sport Wagon, and they made it the all-track, and it just was something unique and fun. The problem is, car companies don't just look at, that was nice, people liked it. They look at, we have a factory that produces 300,000 cars a year. What are the 300,000 cars that are going to be the most popular, the most profitable? And right now it's crossovers. So the Volkswagen Jetta was built, or still is built in Mexico, but they used to produce the wagon and they used to produce the Golf down in Mexico. And they said, listen, we can realize some more profit out of that assembly if we move it to crossover production. So they have the Tiguan there, they have the Jetta, and now they have Taos. So they're using that, say, round numbers, 300,000 car capacity to make more profitable, more popular vehicles. And that's exactly what they did. Like the Sport Wagon was popular, but they're thinking that the Taos will be more popular, and that's the way it works. They got rid of Beetle. Beetle was built in that factory as well. And so that's really where it's at. It's not just about the car, it's about the production facility, and companies have only so many lines and only so much capacity, and they're always trying to look for the best mix of capacity and sales and profit, and that's why they've moved to crossovers, which is too bad. I would love it because the Golf is made in Wolfsburg. If they brought some specialty, like if they brought a Golf R wagon to North America, that would be kind of fun. But we've been asking for that for years, and I don't think it's going to happen. Hey, Zach, what's your opinion on the Nissan 3Z, the 300ZX Twin Turbo? Greetings from Lima, Peru. I drove one recently. I did one of those on the Cool Fun and Collectibles. I guess it was last summer. Very cool car. It didn't have the. Did it have the T-bar roof? I don't think it did. Yeah, they're really quite collectible now. Really quite collectible. My mom needs a new car. She wants a car around $25,000. She drives cars until it's dead. What would you recommend for her? I would say, Stephen, get your mom a Corolla or a Civic. Under $25,000, you're going to get it nicely equipped. And if she drives it till the wheels fall off, she's going to drive it a long time. And don't get the Turbo Civic. Get the 2-liter base engine. That's the one to buy. And the Corolla. Between those two, can't go wrong. Sean G. How about Toyota with the GR? We already talked about that. Have you had a chance to see the 2023 Ranger in person? No, I have not. Well, which would you buy, a Toyota RAV4 or a Volkswagen Taos? Well, they're very quite different and in different categories. Taos is in the slightly smaller subcompact class, even though it's one of the biggest, and the RAV4 is in the compact class. If it's long-term ownership, you're going to keep the car for many, many, many years. It's an easy one here. You get the RAV4. If you get your car and you flip it every 2 or 3 years, if you lease it, say, for example, for 3 years, and you want to have some fun and you like a little bit more dynamic drive, the Taos is going to be the one to get. But they're not exactly the same size. We drove the Taos and we had a lot of fun with it. I thought it really reminded me of back to that question a moment ago about the All-Track and the Volkswagen Jetta Sport Wagon, a Golf Sport Wagon that went away. They've really tried to make it feel like those old Golf-based cars and also make it into a crossover at the same time. So they're trying to straddle, really make it a crossover in that way. So when you drive it, it has more of that car feeling still from Volkswagen, and the RAV4 doesn't have that. By the way, we're going to be going to a launch in Ontario in a month. We're going to get to drive the new Jetta with a 1.5 liter turbo engine, so a new engine, same engine that's in the Taos. And we're also going to get a chance to drive the GLI. Now, it's different than the GTI. So the GTI has the newer, more powerful engine and has the new in-dash technology with the capacitive buttons and the plastic that a lot of people don't like. Well, the GLI is the old interior of the GTI. So it still has the buttons and the knobs and all that kind of stuff. And it has the old 228 horsepower GTI engine. The good thing about the GLI is a real value car. You got a lot of car for your money. So we'll wait until we get a chance to drive it. They did a real value story with the GTI. I think the base model GTI at $31,500 in the Canadian market is a screaming good deal. So they've always had the GLI a little bit cheaper, and now with the older engine and the older interior, which I actually like better, it could be a real screaming good deal. So we'll have to wait and see. Okay, we have a couple of super chats here. Maybe did I get to them? I think we got to them all. All right, we have done our hour, and we're all done. Oh, we only got to 9 thumbs down. So I need to get us to 300 thumbs up. Oh, we got to 10 thumbs down. So I need 6 more people to smash the thumbs up so we get to 300 thumbs up. And then there's 10 of you with the thumbs down. It's all right. It's all right. Okay, we need 5 more thumbs up. 5 more thumbs up to get to 300. And then we can, you guys can do it. I know you can do it. So smash the thumbs up. Now we're down to 11 thumbs down. There's always one joker out there. Come on, you guys. You can do it. 300 thumbs up. 3 more to go. We're at 297. I will not leave until we get to 300. By the way, if I don't read all of your comments on here, of course we can't do that. But I do read them after the fact. So thank you to everybody that takes time. Okay, we're well over 300 now. So thank you for that. And we're at 9 thumbs down. So there's 9 of you. That's all right. No Christmas card for you. No, nothing from the Zach man. But there you go. All right. All out of time. Thank you very much for your questions. I do read them all. Don't forget that on Tuesday we do the Rogue and the Forester comparison. On Wednesday, it's the Jeep Grand Cherokee full review. And then on Saturday, we're going to do our BZ4X Toyota full electric SUV video, one of 2 videos, and that'll be out on Saturday. Okay? Thanks to everybody. Thanks for all those thumbs up. You guys crushed it at the end now. We're almost at 350. So thank you very much. Have a great night, everybody. And we'll chat with you soon. Bye now.